plan is a business plan for the development and transformation of the African continent, spearheaded by the private sector.
Yeah.
We've said the governments are doing their very best, but we need more than the effort of the government. Mm-hmm. And we have tried to bring together the African private sector and to bring its capital to the development space. Mm-hmm. And this development space, we are talking about enhancing productivity on the African continent so that the African continent can be globally competitive.
Yeah.
The reason why we haven't been doing very well in export is because of the productivity of our sectors. So we have focused on 5 sectors that we would really like to see productivity enhanced.
Okay.
The first one is agriculture. And we are saying, can we produce more with the same resources?
Absolutely.
And I'm excited that in some products we've been able to see 8-fold increase in productivity. The same acre of land producing 8 times when it was producing. So it is more of ensuring the right crop husbandry, the right use of the right fertilizers, the soil testing, the right seeds, and care. And then linking that to the market so that post-harvest crop management is efficient and reaches the market in time, and you reduce wastage.
Yeah.
That is where we have captured that value. The second one we then said is, if we have been able to increase production 8-fold, what happens to that produce? And that has really become the raw material for manufacturing. And we are now significantly financing agro-processing. Let's add value on the African continent. And the outcome there is many jobs for young people, decent jobs in manufacturing, but the export value of our produce will go up exponentially, giving our government an opportunity to make better tax returns. So it is an integrated approach, creating a circular economy. The greatest opportunity we are seeing is in natural resources, what people simply called minerals. We have been an exporter of low materials in minerals. The global manufacturing sector is built on raw materials from Africa. And we are saying, why don't we invite the global capital and African capital to add value where mining is being done? And we're very excited to see countries like Tanzania spearheading this effort. We are financing already a group called Somaika to start doing some battery parts in Tanzania. We are involved heavily in the special economic zone on the border between DRC and Zambia to try and add value to the minerals from DRC and Zambia, such that they are not exporting copper ore, but either copper sheets, cathodes, and that really creates a greater value. And exports fish much more while creating jobs back home. Africa has 40% of all the strategic minerals that are required in renewable clean energy technologies. And it's said that at the moment, from export of these strategic minerals, Africa is getting $12 billion US. If it adds value, just even to make a copper sheet that level, what rudimentary value, that goes to $50 billion. If Africa is able to make the batteries, the final product, make the phones from rare earth, Africa would be fetching $2.7 trillion US. So you can see that's the money we want to grow back.
Very significant.
Africa would be an economic superpower.
Absolutely.
But we need to rearrange the supply chains.
We
need to be at the, not just producers of raw material, but really manufacturers of the final product. And I'm glad that the global reset, following the disruption of global supply chains, gives us an opportunity. the way we did with COVID, where we promoted manufacturing of PPEs in Kenya because we couldn't get PPEs. The way we are now focusing agriculture because we can't get grains from Russia or fertilizer from Russia, and people are setting fertilizer factories on the continent. The way we couldn't get vaccines, and now we have built 5 vaccine factories in Africa. We should be able to do that for commercial entities, and that is how Africa can be transformed. In a nutshell, that is what we are calling the African Recovery and Resilient Plan, a platform for transformation.
When I looked at the report by the Kenyan Bankers Association, one of the areas that they said hit hard the entire sector was the NPLs from the manufacturing sector. I think they were quite hit, maybe because of the inflation, as you say, the macroeconomic factors that were there. I don't know what has been your observation and what word of resilience you would give to the manufacturing sector, because you've put it very well. If we embrace the manufacturing, especially in the entire of Africa and the resources we have what it takes. What would be your word to a manufacturer there saying, James is giving me some hope, but
I think hard times don't last.
Yes.
The question, like us in the banking industry, we leverage on 3 buffers that we create during good times. We strengthen our capital buffers. We build our capital during good times. We build liquidity during good times. And we then build reserves, provision reserves during good times. So when hard times come, what we do is slowly release from the capital buffers. So we are able to go through the shock. We release the liquidity that has been built, and we release the provisions that have been set aside. So you'll find like before entering this shock, the NPL coverage for Equity Bank had gone all the way to 126%. So even if the NPLs goes up, our coverage will still be above 70%. Why? Because we prudently I would say the same should happen to the manufacturers. During good times, put buffers in retained profit so that you build your capital there. Set innovation reserves, and during those times do the and it's these innovations that help the manufacturing. But I think broadly, the African Recovery and Resilience Plan is trying to offer a solution. One, to provide syndicated long-term loans to the manufacturing sector. Equity has seeded this plan with $7 billion, but has brought in syndicating partners, development banks, who have added another $24 billion. So we can provide cushion by diversifying the capital base through debt for the manufacturing sector. The second one is working very closely with the East African community, the SADC, and the African Continental Free Trade Area to remove the barriers within cross-border trade so that we enhance the market. Sometimes it will not be margin, it will be volume. So we can try and bring, and lastly is what we talked about, productivity, enhancing efficiency in the manufacturing center. Lean times, we tighten the belt and we become more and more efficient. So those are the 3 things that we would like, and that's why we said we're supporting that sector to survive. And hopefully by the end of this year, the tide will be behind us. Better days will have come. Lessons have been taken, and we'll use those lessons to create resilience in the manufacturing sector, so that the next shock will not leave us the way this one has left us.
Wow, thank you so much for that. There's hope. Make hay while the sun shines. That's what James is saying right here. Finally, as we come to a close, Daktari, I must first of all congratulate you, because you hit the 100 mark of the clinics under Equity Afia, which is a great milestone. But also, just recently, I saw you at the Wings to Fly program. That's marking 15 years plus of this work that you've done. And this is brilliant, and it is impacting a lot of people in the society, and thank you so much for that. I just wanted to ask you, how has the impact, especially on the clinics part and this investment, played as a role in Equity's journey?
Thank you very much. A very important question. When we analyze, and you said NPLs are very high, or non-performing loan book has increased significantly. 40% of defaults comes through because people experience a health incidents within the family. And the business cash flows are diverted to support a sick person. If it becomes a critical illness, and God forbid it's something like cancer, you find businesses become technically insolvent. So we said we need to solve the root cause of then 40% of the default. And we realized that if we could provide our customers and public with high quality health, affordable health, accessible health, then we would be contributing significantly to solving this problem. We will avert the massive resources spent taking people to India. So to date, we have 102 medical centers. There are level 4 hospitals. So there is consultancy, there is lab tests, there is pharmacy, there is dental, and there is day surgery happening in all these clinics. We now have clinics in all the 47 counties in the country, and that was what accessibility was. And then we charge between 40 and 60% lower than similar providers of health within the country. We have used the equity scholars who did medicine. We have 22,000 of the 60,000 scholars we have in the program, Wings to Fly and Arimu, who have made it to university. Of those 22,000, 1,200 have done medicine. And we have turned to them and said, let's create a franchise for you. We'll subsidize it. We'll leverage on the brand of the bank. We'll leverage on technology and infrastructure, and we'll support you with debt, but provide health at affordable rates at the highest quality. Now, given that these are A students, all of them 84 points, we can't doubt their quality. And it's a franchise that we supervise. And we are very glad that they have been able. What, on average, the total cost of consulting a doctor, cost of the prescription, cost of the lab test, and all the other services given would be about 2,500 shillings per visit. If you look at that, that is a tenth of some of the high quality service providers. And if it's like for level 4 hospitals, it's 60% lower. So that is the contribution we are trying to make to solve a problem we have identified. But I think the biggest one, I would say, is supporting entrepreneurs. As I said, we must support businesses. To date, over the last 5 years, we set the African Recovery, the African Young Africa Works program. And that was a response to COVID. We realized young people were at home, and we said, why don't we train them entrepreneurship and give them loans? We have trained 680,000 young people. We have funded 462,000 with loans of about $3 billion US, 315 billion Kenya shillings. When we are very impressed, they have created 1.8 million jobs. In small enterprises. And that is the biggest contribution we could make to provide livelihoods to young people and create an incubation of future businesses. So you support that, you support agriculture, and we all know how much we have invested in agriculture, converting peasants into agribusinesses, putting them in export value chains. We're now the biggest financier of fruits and vegetables. And if you look at the flights taking off from Jomo Kenyatta, all of them are carrying fruits and vegetables, all grown by small farmers. Those are the contributions that really give us a feel that we are doing a purposeful business. That not only do well, but do good to society and spread the share in shared prosperity with the society and community.
Wow. James Mwangi, always a pleasure having you in the show, and really keeping on the resilience and the impact you have in the society. And thank you so much for your time.
No civilization has ever developed another civilization. We owe it ourselves.
We have to do it ourselves.
We have to do it ourselves.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for having me.
What an ending. It's up to us. We don't wait for others to come through. We have to do it our own. And James Mwangi is leading at the front with doing this with Equity Group itself. Thank you so much for your time. I leave you now with the markets as I get some cup of tea with Dr.